Okay, so now we're going to discuss output VAT coming from zero-rated sales. So in here, we're going to learn the concept of zero-rated sales, its difference between uh, or its difference compared to VAT exception, the concept of export and technical exportation, list of zero-rated sales of goods, and also zero-rated sales of services, and the mandatory requirements that are needed for effective zero rating. Okay, so ano nga ba ang zero rated sales? So basically, these are foreign consumptions in the eyes of the taxation law. That is why for zero rated sales, they have or they produce zero output VAT coming from the very word itself, zero rated, but the creditable input VAT is deductible. So ibig sabihin, wala kang i-report na output VAT, but any related input VAT to that sale that you made, which is considered as zero rated, will be claimable in full. So the difference between zero rated sales and exempt sales is that under exempt sales, the input VAT can be claimed only as a deduction to arrive at the net income. Samantalang sa zero-rated sales, yung input VAT is deductible directly to the related output VAT coming from sales that are not considered as zero-rated or dun sa sales na nanggaling sa mga or dun sa output VAT na nanggaling sa mga regular sales. So para mas maintindihan natin yung concept between these two, the zero-rated sales and VAT exempt sales, because basically they produce zero output VAT. Doon sa isa, zero rated sales at saka doon sa isa, VAT exempt sales. Pero para mas maintindihan natin yung differences sa concept between these two, tingnan natin itong illustration. In here, during the month, Rizal Corporation purchased goods invoiced at 350,000, excluding 42,000 input VAT. It exported the goods for $12,000, which is equivalent to 510,000, and incurred 10,000 in expenses. So tingnan natin ito on the point of view of a VAT taxpayer and a non-VAT taxpayer. Kapag VAT taxpayer kasi, okay, dito kasi kapag VAT taxpayer daw si Rizal Corporation, subject sa zero-rated VAT yung sale na ginawa niya, yung exportation na ginawa niya. Kaya kung kukumpitin natin yung VAT liability ni Rizal Corporation, specifically coming from that transaction, ganito ang itsura. The output VAT is zero, less the input VAT, which is 42,000 or a negative amount of 42,000. This one, it can be claimed as a refund or it can be claimed as a tax credit that can be credited against any internal revenue. Okay? So, yun yung zero-rated sales. Assuming that Rizal Corporation is subject to 30% corporate income tax. So, hindi lang siya basta VAT taxpayer, corporate income tax, corporate taxpayer pa siya. So, 30%, for example, 30% yung corporate income tax. So, mapapansin natin dito dun sa note na sinabi niya, the input VAT cannot be claimed as deduction against gross income in income taxation because it is a tax credit or tax refund. It can only be claimed as a tax credit or tax refund. And most of the time, taxpayers opt to claim it as a tax credit dahil kapag tax refund, mas matrabaho ito and it entails audit coming from the BIR. So kalimitan ayaw nilang ma-audit kaya tax credit na lang. So itong pangalawang assumption natin, paano naman daw kung si Rizal Corporation ay isang non-VAT taxpayer? So tignan natin kung paano ang computation nun. So kapag non-VAT taxpayer kasi ang nag-export, ang tawag dun exempt. Okay? So tandaan natin yun na kapag ang isang VAT taxpayer ang nag-export, ang tawag dun zero-rated sales. Kapag ka naman non-VAT taxpayer ang nag-export, ang tawag dun exempt sales. So tingnan natin. Since exempt, there is no need to compute for the VAT due. Okay? Kasi nga non-VAT taxpayer yan. So titignan na lang natin kung magkano ang computation or kung paano ang computation ng taxable income ni Rizal Corporation, which is a non-VAT taxpayer. So ganito ang itsura. So kung mapapansin natin, okay, yung 42,000 na input VAT na nanggaling doon sa purchase niya na 350,000 embedded dito sa 392, it was deducted in full to arrive at a gross income of 118,000 less yung 10,000 na expenses kanina. Okay, so 32,400 ang naging income tax due niya. So i-compare natin, okay? Kung titignan natin yung benefit na na-derive ni Rizal Corporation as a VAT taxpayer versus Rizal Corporation as a non-VAT taxpayer, ganito siya. Okay? Yung tax benefit is only 12,600 kung non-VAT taxpayer siya. Okay? Dahil yung deduction is 42,000, i-multiply natin doon sa matitipid niya na 30% income tax. Okay? So i-multiply lang natin itong income tax rate dito sa 42,000 kasi ito hindi na ito tinaksan. Okay? Hindi na tinaksan dahil nga naging part siya ng deduction. Samantala dito, okay, samantalang yung input VAT doon kay Rizal Corporation being a VAT taxpayer, it was credited in full. So doon natin malalaman that for a non-VAT taxpayer, yung exempt sales niya, okay, hindi siya total relief. Okay, when it comes to doon sa benefit ng input VAT. Partial relief lang. Kasi instead na 42,000 sana ang maaawas doon sa internal revenue tax niya, 12,600 lang. Okay, so yun yung difference ng dalawa. So tignan natin yung table dito as a comparison doon sa treatment ng output and input VAT and the extent of tax relief between a VAT exempt sales and zero rated sales. So output VAT for a VAT exempt sales, no output VAT kasi non-VAT taxpayer ang mga yan. And zero rated sales naman, no output VAT. Okay, pareho lang. Input VAT treatment, ito, okay, deductible against gross income, yung input VAT that is related to the VAT exempt sales. Pangalawa is creditable or refundable. So dito, it's partial relief dahil ang mababawasan is income tax lang. Dito, ang mababawasan is either full amount credited against input tax or income tax, I should say, or business tax or any other internal revenue taxes. Okay. Zero rated sales of goods, meron tayong dalawa. We have the export sales and we have the effectively zero rated sales. So tingnan natin yung mga example under letter A, export sales. We have direct export, ito yung normal na pinadala mo sa ibang bansa. Pangalawa, sale to economic zones and tourism enterprises zones, or ito yung tinatawag natin na technical exportation dahil by location nasa nasa loob ng Pilipinas naman ng mga ito, pero they are still considered exportation because they belong to economic zones. And pangatlo, sale of goods or properties, supplies, equipment, and fuel to persons engaged in international shipping or international air transport operations. So tignan natin in depth kung ano yung direct export. So ito ang sabi niyo, actual shipment of goods from Philippines to a foreign country. However, meron itong mga requirement. Okay? Unang requirement ay dapat daw kapag nag-export ang isang VAT taxpayer, okay? Pag nag-export ang isang VAT taxpayer ng goods sa ibang bansa, para daw ma-classify as zero-rated sale yung exportation na yun, it should be made or it should be paid for in acceptable foreign currency or its equivalent in goods or services. So dapat daw ang ibabayad na pera sa kanya ay foreign currency. Unang-unang tatandaan natin yan. Dahil kapag ang binayad sa kanya ay Philippine peso, hindi na yan zero-rated sales. Magiging exempt na lang. Okay? So ano ba kasi ang mas beneficial on the part of the taxpayer? Is it VAT exempt or zero-rated? So others may think, so parang pareho lang kasi walang output VAT. Pero mas okay yung zero-rated sales because there is a tawag dito, complete yung benefit or buo yung benefit coming from the input VAT wherein pwede siyang i-deduct in full. Okay? Sa exempt kasi, i-deduct mo lang siya sa income tax. 30% lang yung benefit nun kung corporate taxpayer. Okay? Then, pangalawang requirement is accounted for in accordance with the rules and regulations of the BSP. So, tignan natin yung isang example dito. So, dito, merong resident alien, visiting tourist. Ito, nasa Pilipinas sila dahil yung place of delivery is sa Philippines. Tapos, isang Filipino employee na nasa Japan. Okay, then isang business na nasa Indonesia. So, tingnan natin ito. At first glance, makikita natin that itong dalawang nasa baba, they are qualified to be considered as zero-rated sales. Bakit? Kasi they were actual exportation of goods coming from Philippines to foreign country, and they were paid in acceptable foreign currency or its equivalent in services. So itong dalawa. Okay, wag na natin masyadong yung conversion rates kasi multiply lang naman yan. Tingnan natin yung sagot niya dito. Okay, sabi niya, yung zero-rated sales daw, sabi ko nga kanina, yung dalawang nasa baba, at yung subject sa 12% VAT, yung binenta kanina sa isang resident alien at sa isang visiting tourist. Okay? Sabi niya kasi dito, kahit hindi daw residente at foreigner yung isang tao na nag-consume ng goods sa loob ng Pilipinas, that is still subject to 12% VAT. Okay, pangalawa. Ito naman, exportation din, export for Hong Kong, then of FOB destination, payment is $100,000 in cash. So alam na natin na na zero rated. Export for Thailand, FOB destination. O ito, mapapansin natin that it is not paid in acceptable foreign currency. So kung titingnan natin yung sagot dito, ito siya, exempt. Naging exempt ito. Okay, so any input VAT that is related to this transaction cannot be claimed as deduction doon sa VAT due or cannot be claimed in full to be credited against any internal revenue taxes, but can only be claimed as deduction sa gross income to arrive at net income. Okay? So, ito siya. So, basahin nyo na lang . So, itong export for Thailand, actual naman na nagkaroon ng exportation ng goods galing sa Pilipinas papuntang Thailand. Pero, hindi niya kasi na-meet yung isang requirement na dapat ang bayad ay foreign currency. Okay, ito naman, illustration number 3. Kung napapansin natin dito, fruits and vegetables, diba sabi natin before, exempt itong mga ganito. Pero dito kasi, okay, dito, si taxpayer ay isang VAT-registered taxpayer, in-export niya yung fruits and vegetables. Kapag ganun ang nangyari, hindi na siya exempt. Okay, magiging zero-rated na siya. Pero kapag ang binenta niya ay fruits and vegetables for domestic consumption, dun lang siya exempt. Okay, sabi niya nga dito, whereas fruits and vegetables are VAT exempt for domestic consumption, but they are zero-rated for foreign consumption. Paano naman daw kung ito, si XHI ay isang non-VAT registered taxpayer? Okay, yung dalawang yan, VAT exempt yan. Yung input VAT, makiklaim niya ba? Yes, but as an expense only. Kasali din pala sa tinataksan using zero-rated sales is yung commission, export commission, and consignment. Okay. So tingnan natin yung isang illustration dito wherein a VAT-registered export trader ay magko-consign ng goods, magpapadala ng goods sa ibang bansa para ipabenta sa kanila, consignment. Okay. Kung maalala nyo, yung previous chapter, yung consigned goods, kapag lagpas ng 60 days, they are considered sold already. Pero that is not the case for consignment that is made by exportation. So kahit pa more than 60 days yan, hindi pa rin siya i-consider na sold. So mag-a-apply lang yung more than 60-day rule sa consignment sa local sales only. Okay? So yun lang. So basahin nyo na lang to, yung napakasimpleng explanation niya. So tignan nyo dito, yung more than 60 days, hindi siya tinaksan. Okay? Saka lang siya tataksan kapag actual talaga na nabenta. Okay. Sealed economic zones and tourism zones. Ito yung tinatawag natin na technical exportation. Yung kabaliktaran nito is technical importation naman. So kapag daw nag-export or nagbenta ang isang VAT taxpayer sa mga ito, mga yan, mga episodes, mga example lang yan, zero rated sales yan. Ito, huwag nyo nang basahin to kasi pampagulo lang yan. Okay? Next. Sale of goods, supplies, equipment, and fuel to persons engaged in international shipping or international air transport or operations. So, para mas maintindihan natin, diretso na tayo dun sa illustration. Dito kasi, si Balom Company, VAT taxpayer siya, nagbenta siya kay Pan Pacific Airlines. Si Pan Pacific Airlines, meron siyang domestic operation at meron din siyang international operation. So, dito hinati yung sales na pumunta doon sa domestic or operation at saka sa international operation niya. So, syempre, kapag domestic operation, that is subject to 12% VAT. Kapag international operation, that is 0% VAT or zero rated sales dahil nga kapag international operation, that is considered foreign consumption. So, ang sabi niya ba dito, yung zero rating is limited to goods, supplies, equipment, and fuel pertaining to or attributable to the transport of goods or passengers from a port in the Philippines directly to a foreign port or vice versa. Mas dami pang sinabi. So ano ba kasi ang benefit kapag zero rated ang pagbenta ng mga yan, goods, supplies, equipment, and fuel sa isang international carrier. So una, mas mura ang pamasahe. Okay, yun yung unang-unang benefit niyan. At pangalawa, mas maiengganyo sila na magtayo ng mga or mag-invest sa kanilang international transportation business dito sa Pilipinas dahil nga merong 0% VAT. So makakatipid sila sa cost of operation. Next is, ito na yung pangalawa, number 2 sa zero-rated sale of goods. Itong effectively zero-rated sales. So, ito yung mga yun. Kapag ang binentahan daw ay alinman sa mga ito, number 1 at saka dun sa number 1 to 7. Ito kasi yan. Okay, ang tawag dyan, effectively zero-rated sales. Bakit effectively zero-rated sales? Dahil yung pagiging zero-rated sale nila ay nanggaling sa special laws and international agreements or treaties wherein the Philippines is a signatory. So, tingnan lang natin itong number 5. Ito kasi yung medyo kailangan i-discuss wherein ang sabi niya subject to the reciprocity rule. Ano ba kasi yung tinatawag natin na reciprocity rule? Okay, pero bago muna natin i-discuss yun, ano muna ang requirement para effective zero-rated sales ang isang sale ng taxpayer? Okay, unang-una, kapag isa kang VAT taxpayer at plano mong magbenta sa alinman sa nabanggit sa numbers 1 to 7 na ito, okay, kailangan ka munang mag-secure ng certification. Okay, kailangan ka munang mag-secure ng certification na entitled to be considered as zero-rated yung sale na gagawin. Okay, so saan ka mag-a-apply? So malamang sa BIR. Okay? Kasi kapag hindi mo daw in-applyan muna na magkakaroon ka ng zero-rated sale transaction sa isa sa mga nabanggit dun sa number 1 at sa number 7, magiging considered or magiging exempt lang yan. So kapag exempt lang, yung input VAT, sana instead na i-deduct mo sa VAT due or i-deduct mo directly and completely in its full amount sa anumang internal revenue taxes, magiging deduction na lang siya sa gross income to arrive at the net income. So hindi na full yung benefit. Partial relief na lang, hindi full relief. Okay. Ano daw ang Yun yung isa pala sa requirement ng zero rating. And where to file this? So depende kung anong klaseng taxpayer ka. Kung large taxpayer ka or yung regular taxpayer. Next, discuss naman natin yung binanggit ko kanina na reciprocity. So ito, tawag dito, nag-a-apply lang ito sa mga embassies and their qualified employees, including the dependents of those qualified employees. So, halimbawa, si Philippines, meron siyang embassy sa United States. Sa United States, kung nagbibigay sila or if they do grant Philippine embassies and diplomats yung tinatawag natin na indirect tax exemption, that is the time that the Philippines is obliged to do the same para sa embassy ng Amerika na nasa Pilipinas. So kung anong gagawin ng kabila, gagayahin lang din ng kabila. Yun yung ibig sabihin ng reciprocity rule. So kung sakali na okay yun, ano ba ang ibibigay sa mga qualified foreign embassies at saka qualified personnel and dependents? So ito yung bibigay sa kanila. VAT exemption certificates or VAT exemption identification card. So ito yung certificate para sa embassy yan, para kapag may magbebenta sa kanila, pwede na lang ipakita yan at hindi sila singilan ng kanumang VAT. Pangalawa, ito naman yung sa mga diplomats, mga employees or personnel at saka yung mga dependents nila. So for example, dependent ang isang American citizen dahil nagtatrabaho ang tatay niya doon sa American Embassy, bibigyan din siya ng ganito. Pag pupunta siya ng McDonald's, pupunta siya ng Jollibee at gusto niyang kumain, ipakita niya lang to, meron siyang tawag dito, parang magkakaroon siya ng kumbaga discount kasi tatanggalin yung VAT. And any other establishment, pwede niyang ipakita yan. Provided na VAT taxpayer yung establishment. Kasi kung hindi, wala ding kwenta kasi ito VAT exemption lang. Okay, next is illustration lang naman to dun sa reciprocity at saka with reciprocity at saka dun sa walang reciprocity. So very much self-explanatory to. At kung sakali man daw na makapagbenta pala sa mga employees and dependents na merong mga IDs na nabanggit natin kanina sa previous page, those are considered zero-rated sales. Okay? Tapos ito, previously zero-rated sales. Huwag na natin discuss yan kasi previously na yan. Hindi na yan applicable ngayon. Next ay zero-rated sales of services naman. Okay, we have 6 in here. So, i-discuss natin to yung iba dito. Okay, unang-una is sale of services to non-residents. Meron din siyang requirement. Okay, unang-una, dapat daw yung service must be performed in the Philippines. So ito yung mga lagi dapat chine-check. Actually, itong dalawa nga lang ang laging chine-check. Okay, kapag syempre kapag nasa school pa lang tayo or for the purpose of classroom purposes. Ito lang, itong dalawa lang. Dapat na-perform sa Pilipinas. Pangalawa, dapat ang binayad ay isang acceptable foreign currency or its equivalent in goods or services. Okay. So, isang example dito ay ang isang tailoring shop wherein meron siyang iba't ibang klase ng clients. Okay. Una, si DLSU, a Philippine University in the amount of 800,000. Pangalawa, si Levi's, a foreign dressmaker in the amount of 100,000 US dollars. And si Fines, a foreign textile manufacturer in the amount of 1 million. Okay, so kung titignan natin dito, ito siya. Okay? Dun sa sale sa DLSU, that is vatable kasi domestic consumption. Pangalawa, zero-rated sale. Okay? Una, kasi ang client ay isang non-resident at yung amount is $100,000. So paid for by a acceptable foreign currency. Pangatlo kasi, kung papansinin nyo, Philippine peso kasi kaya hindi na siya qualified as zero-rated. So ito, exempt na lang yan. Okay? Pangalawang example para sa sale of services to non-residents. Una, a foreign corporate client wherein the services are rendered abroad for the amount of $200,000. So titignan natin yung requirement. Una, the service must be rendered within the Philippines. So X na kaagad dito. Kahit pa binayaran siya in acceptable foreign currency. Pangalawa, non-resident foreign corporation. It was rendered in the Philippines for the amount of 100,000 yen. Okay. Pangatlo, syempre ito, non-resident foreign corporation, na-render siya sa Pilipinas. Tapos yung amount niya is 1 million. So tignan natin. So unang-una, ito, that is exempt lang kasi na-render siya abroad. Okay, hindi niya na-meet yung qualification para maging zero-rated sales siya. Tapos yung pangalawa naman, okay, the 100,000 receipt shall be subjected to 12% VAT because this is a domestic consumption. Kasi resident foreign corporation. Okay? Then the client being a resident in the Philippines. Okay, yung pangatlo naman, non-resident foreign corporation sa Pilipinas nga pero hindi naman siya binayaran using acceptable foreign currency. Kaya, okay, yung sabi niya dyan, exempt lang. Okay? Pangalawa, effectively zero-rated sales of services. So ito yung mga sale of services dun sa Asian Development Bank, International Rice Research Institute, yung nabanggit kanina. Okay, pareho lang yan din sa effectively zero-rated sales of goods. Kung sino yung mga binebentahan doon, pareho lang yung number 1 tsaka sa number 7. Kasali yung mga embassies. Okay? Services rendered to persons engaged in international shipping or air transport operations. Okay, so ano ba kasi yung mga tinatawag natin na international carriers? Ang mga international carriers class, sila yan yung mga businesses na nasa Pilipinas and they do conduct only international shipping or air transport operation. Kasi meron tayong mga tinatawag na domestic corporations that are engaged in international shipping or air transport operations at meron din silang domestic operations. So ito kasing international carriers, yearly they are only engaged in international operations. Wala silang domestic operations. So tignan natin dito. Okay? S2 Technologies specialize in aircraft repair maintenance services. Tapos meron siyang dalawang client, si Malay Airlines and si Airfield. So Malay Airlines is an international air carrier while Airfield is a domestic carrier. So may difference, di ba? International si Malay, tapos si Airfield is a domestic carrier with international operations. Kapag international air carrier kasi, automatic yan, puro international operations lang. So tignan natin kung paano yung application ng VAT doon sa magkahiwalay. Una, the service fees from Airfield shall be subject to 12% VAT kasi nga domestic corporation siya. Pangalawa, the service fees from Malay Airlines shall be subject to 0% VAT. Okay? O itong pangalawa naman, domestic corporation siya or domestic business siya at meron siyang operations domestically and internationally. Okay. So titignan natin diyan kung magkano yung sales sa kanya, sales ng services sa kanya na gagamitin niya lang sa domestic transport division or operation and international transport division or operation. So dito, any services that is rendered that is related to the domestic transport division of that client, okay, syempre 12% output VAT yan. Otherwise, that is zero rated. Pangalawa, or not pangalawa pala, next, transport of passengers and cargo by domestic air or sea carriers from Philippines to a foreign country. So ito, domestic corporation or domestic entity na mayroong international operations. So tingnan na lang natin yung yung board ng rules. Una, yung incoming flight daw is a foreign consumption. That is why it is considered exempt from VAT. So walang benefit ng input tax yan. Ang benefit niya lang is a deduction doon sa gross income. Yung outgoing flight is a zero-rated, subject siya sa zero-rated VAT. Bakit? Kasi yung outgoing flight daw, yung service dyan nangyari sa Pilipinas. Pero papuntang ibang bansa. Okay? Foreign consumption. Considered foreign consumption. At yung domestic flight, that is, of course, 12% VAT. Okay. Pansinin that this one, Pinoy Airline, that is a domestic air carrier with international operations. Samantalang ito, si Singapore Ocean Liners is an international sea carrier talaga. So tignan natin yung illustration niya. Okay? The incoming voyage is a foreign consumption exempt from business tax. Tapos, okay, yung outgoing voyage niya is also exempt. Pansinin natin yung difference niya dito kay domestic. Sabi niya dito, yung outgoing niya is zero rated. Pero dito, si international carrier, yung outgoing niya na transport ay exempt. Okay, yun yung difference. However, di ba napag-aralan natin doon sa chapter 5 that yung sa international carriers in their transport of mails, cargoes, and baggages coming from Philippines to other country, that is specifically subject to 3% percentage tax. Okay. Next is sale of power or fuel generated through renewable sources of energy. So ito yung mga nanggagaling sa related naman sa electricity. So tingnan muna natin kung ano ba yung mga types ng businesses na related sa electricity. Una, generation companies. Ito yung mga gumagawa ng electricity. Kumbaga, power plants. Ito yung mga power plants. Good example ng mga ito, yung isa na nandito sa locality natin, located in San Manuel, Isabela, yung La Suerte Biomass, and various hydroelectric power plant located in Ramon, Isabela, within the vicinity of the Magat Dam. Okay, so yun yung mga generation companies. Example. Tapos pangalawa, transmission companies. Isa lang naman ang transmission company natin sa Pilipinas, NGCP lang. Okay? Yung nakikita niyong sobrang tataas na mga kable ng kuryente, poste ng kuryente, okay? Yun yung tinatawag natin na high voltage backbone system. Kumbaga, yun yung expressway ng mga, or yun yung expressway para sa tawag dito, sa electricity. So, dun pinapadaan ng generation companies. Okay? Yung mga kuryente nila para ipadala sa mga distribution companies. Okay? Distribution companies, ito na yung mga electric cooperatives natin. Mga Kahelco 1, Kahelco 2, Iselco 1, Iselco 2, and so forth, and so on. Distribution companies, dahil mula sa generation companies, sila na ang magbibigay or mag-distribute sa bahay-bahay. Okay? So, yun yung difference ng tatlong ito. So, ang sabi niya dito, kapag galing daw sa renewable sources of energy, ang sale ng isang power plant or ng isang generation company, okay, zero-rated sale daw yun. Okay, so napakasimple lang naman ng illustration dyan. Basahin nyo na lang. Okay, so ang example niya kasi sa renewable sources ay ito. Biomass, solar, wind, hydropower. Ito biomass, ito yung sa San Manuel, sinasabi ko hydropower, ito yung sa Magat Dam. Geothermal and steam, ocean energy, and other sources. Okay, services rendered to ecozone or tourism enterprises. So, sabi nga natin kanina, 0% VAT. Ayan na yun. Pero hindi lahat ng hindi lahat ng businesses that are found inside the ecozone ay mga ecozone, tinatawag natin na ecozone enterprises. So for example, sa Santa Ana. So hindi naman lahat, iilan lang. Okay, iilan lang yung mga tinatawag natin doon na ecozone locators. So hindi lahat ng businesses doon. Yung mga karinderya doon, mga hindi yung ecozone enterprises. Mga Tawag dito mga hotels na hindi naman registered sa as Ecozone Enterprises, hindi rin. Okay, yung mga hardwares. Tapos itong enhanced VAT refund system, wag muna natin discuss to kasi hindi pa naman siya in place. Lalong-lalo na ito. Zero rated sales that will be subjected to 12%. Kapag daw na-establish yung enhanced VAT refund system. Okay. Ito lang yung discuss natin. Export-oriented enterprise. So paano ba matatawag na isang export-oriented enterprise ang isang company or ang isang taxpayer? So kapag daw yung minamanufacture niya na products ay ine-export niya at ang equivalent niya is more than 70%. Okay, kapag ganoon daw, kapag nagbenta ka sa kanya, okay, consider daw yun as zero rated sales to non-residents. Provided that, okay, ito na naman yung provision, dapat babayaran using acceptable foreign currency or yung equivalent niya in goods or services. Tapos, ito yung mga iba pa na considered export sales under EO 226 and other special laws. So, basahin nyo na lang ito kasi memorization lang ang kailangan dito. Okay? Listahan lang naman ang binigay niya. Okay, sale of goods or properties or services to BOI. BOI stands for Board of Investments, Registered Manufacturer or Producers. So paano ba magkakaroon ng certification that a manufacturer or a producer is a BOI registered? So na-applyan yung certification na yun, and ang binibigyan lang ng certification ay yung mga manufacturers or producers that exports their products 100%. So wala silang binibenta sa Pilipinas. So kapag ganoon daw, kapag nagbenta ng goods, properties, and services sa kanila, consider daw yun as or tinataksan daw yun using zero rated sale treatment. Okay. So that's all for chapter